Hey guys, let me see if I can, hopefully it's not too loud. Alright, I'm getting ready to leave the Capitol, and I had some time because the bills that I came here for have not come up yet, and I've got to leave, so unfortunately I didn't get to testify on anything, but I did get to register for stuff. But I also got to watch, okay, good, sound is good. I did get to watch some videos of some issues that had come up, and an interview recently that Dennis Bonnen did with the KFYO. In the description of this video is a link to that interview so you can hear the whole thing on your own. It's not until about the second half of the video that he starts talking about the gun rights issue. And the problem is that when he starts talking about the gun rights issue and what happened with unlicensed carry, he's not only just saying stuff now, he's actually potentially committing libel and defamation against Chris McNutt from Texas Gun Rights and the things that he's saying. Now, I want to tell you something else. Yesterday there was an event in which Bonnen and Chris McNutt were both at. And Bonnen came up and approached Chris McNutt at this event and just acted like an absolute child. I'm only hearing this through witness statements of people who were there, but I haven't seen video yet, but I guarantee you there's got to be some video of this somewhere. But it's not, and I'm not talking about just coming from Chris McNutt. I'm talking about some other people that were in attendance who have absolutely nothing to do with the gun rights movement at all, told me about what had happened. And Bonnen came up and just acted like an absolute child, yelling at Chris McNutt in the middle of this forum or event that they were doing yesterday. Now that's kind of an aside because it goes into this interview that he did with KFYO, and I wanted to cover some of the lies that Dennis Bonnen is telling in the media about Chris McNutt and Texas gun rights. And I truly hope, I hope with all of my heart, mind, might, and soul that Chris McNutt will sue Speaker Bonnen for defamation and libel, because that's exactly, or slander, that's exactly what he's doing here. So one of the things that he told the reporter was that Burroughs' wife, so he's talking about the fact that Chris McNutt went to Burroughs' district and he was handing out flyers at the district, in Burroughs' district. And Burroughs, obviously Burroughs wasn't home, but apparently, so one of the things he said was that his wife was actually at school picking up her kids, so even she wasn't home. But he says if they would have been 15 minutes earlier or 15 minutes later, they, meaning Texas Gun Rights, in other words, Chris McNutt, they would have found a wife and 3 young boys at the home. So what? Bonnen is trying to make Chris McNutt out to be this threat, as if he was out there threatening and intimidating. What he's trying to do is defame the character of Chris McNutt and Texas Gun Rights by making it sound as if he had sinister goals in being out there handing out flyers. Remember, all he was doing was handing out a flyer. Look at a previous video that I did where I'm in the studio and I explain in detail what the flyer says. I even read it. There's nothing intimidating about this. And it's even less intimidating as we go further in this and I start talking about his quotes. You're going to see how much more absurd this is. Dennis Bonnen has lost his mind. I'm pretty sure he probably needs to get a mental health screening, and he probably needs to be committed. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but when I listen to the things that he says in this interview, I can't help but be concerned about it. He says, Then Chris went by, and I'm just going to insert words and a paraphrase here because I only wrote notes. He went to Burroughs', basically what he said was he went to Burroughs' district office there, and he flashed, quote, flashed his gun in the district office to the staff. Ladies and gentlemen, here's some truth. One, Chris McNutt was unarmed. How do we know? Chris didn't take any carry-on or didn't check any luggage at all, didn't check any baggage. So everything that he took with him was a carry-on, and you and I both know, because he traveled by Southwest, you and I both know that you cannot carry a gun onto a plane. So what, did he have a gun staged in Burroughs' district that he suddenly put on? The fact of the matter is, no, Chris McNutt on this trip that he was taking, I disagree with this, but he was unarmed. I don't understand why he was unarmed, but he had no guns. So I would like to know, is Burroughs lying to Bonnen, or is Bonnen making this up? Because Burroughs was not armed at all while he was leafleting these districts, and yet you've got Bonnen out there saying that, I'm gonna try and, it says my phone is overheating here. I'm gonna try and, can y'all still hear if I do that? Because I'm gonna put it closer to the AC. So somebody is lying there because Bonnen did not have, or Bonnen, excuse me, McNutt did not have a firearm on him at all. Okay, sound is still good? All right, good. All right, the next thing that he said in this, and again, you can listen to this entire interview yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You can listen to the entire interview by clicking the link in the description of this video. It's already there. So he didn't do that. He took a flight from DFW to Lubbock, and like I said, didn't check any luggage. So how in the world did he get a gun that he would have brought into the office? All right. He also says that, here's the quote. I think I quoted this one. "We are not at our homes. It was a clear effort to intimidate and threaten, and when you think about it, it's on an issue that would allow a criminal the ability to carry, because the only person in Texas today who legally can't carry a gun is a criminal, period." That's what Bonnen said. Let me read that again, and you can listen to it again. And I'm going to pull the audio on this tomorrow, and kind of pull this from a video and make it into a separate video with some text. It was a, oh, sorry, not that. It was a clear effort to intimidate and threaten. Again, he didn't have any guns. He didn't threaten anybody. He wasn't carrying a firearm to begin with. And yet, it was a clear effort to intimidate and threaten. And when you think about it, yeah, let's think, Dennis. Let's think about it, shall we? It's on an issue that would allow a criminal the ability to carry a gun. House Bill 357 is very, very specific. That it says a person who is not prohibited from carrying a gun. It is, as a matter of fact, I'm going to read this to you, because Dennis Bonnen has a problem with reading, but he definitely doesn't have a problem with going to the media and sending out lies about anything. But if you go to Section 4 of House Bill 357, Section 4, Chapter 46 Penal Code is amended by adding the following Section 46.032 to read as following. And here's what it says. Except as otherwise prohibited by this chapter or other law, a person 21 years of age or older who is not prohibited from possessing a firearm. Only a person not prohibited from possessing a firearm would be affected by this law. This is the bill. Look, this is the bill. I don't know if you can see that, but this is House Bill 357. So clearly criminals cannot carry under 357, but yet here he's saying this is an issue that would allow a criminal the ability to carry a gun, because the only person in Texas today who legally can't carry a gun is a criminal. And yet it's the criminals that are the only people right now carrying without a license. The law-abiding citizens have to go through a process in order to get the permission slip to carry a gun. So he's lying there as well about the bill itself. Folks, this is like leftist tactics. This is what Democrats do to push their agenda, is they lie. They absolutely 100% tell the absolute false truth. And what Bonnen is doing is he's obviously repeating the lies that are being told to him by the Texas police associations and the unions here, who are also lying to the American people. I just read you the law. So I don't understand how a police association, Dennis Bonnen, or anyone can say that House Bill 357 allows a criminal to carry when it specifically says they can't. Maybe it's because there's not a section in House Bill 357. Maybe we should add it. But there's not a section in here that says criminals must obey the law. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he thinks that criminals can carry, because there's not a section in here that says criminals have to obey the law. This is just what the law is. All right, the next thing that he says is that the only reason that DPS was watching my house was because of his actions at Mr. Burroughs' home. Well, how does anybody know? Nobody was home, and there were no DPS there. So if there was no DPS there, and there was nobody at the home at Burroughs' home, exactly what is he talking about? And Mr. Price's home the day before. And the comments he made at Mr. Burroughs' office where he flashed his gun is because DPS said they needed to watch my home. So then, after he is stopped by DPS, approaching my house. Okay, first of all, he was not stopped by DPS. Chris walked up to DPS. And by the way, as of today, we have requested the body cam footage. I have requested the body cam footage from those officers, from those troopers in DPS, to find out exactly what happened and exactly what was said. Now, mark my words right here and now. This is what's going to happen. Mark my words. Dennis Bonnen and DPS are going to do everything they can to prevent that body cam footage from getting out. They're going to try to suppress it, and they might even enlist the Attorney General in order to do that. But that, if they do that, will speak volumes about trying to cover up these lies. And if Dennis Bonnen is telling the truth, he will join me in pushing for the release of the body cam footage of Chris McNutt, because, hey, it should prove that he was threatening and intimidating, right? Or not. So Chris was never armed with a gun anyway, so there's no way he could have flashed a gun. Then he goes on and he says, these types of individuals who are pushing a bill that simply changes the nuance of the law from a criminal can carry a gun without being questioned to presently we don't allow criminals to carry a gun. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, because right now criminals can carry guns and they can't be questioned unless they're being stopped for a crime. So once again, he's lying to the press and to you about the truth. This is nothing but the law enforcement lobby's purchase of Dennis Bonnen. And then he says, this is the last thing here, then he insinuates, well, I'm just going to quote him. Now they're attacking him. He's talking about Representative Stickland. Now they're attacking him for standing up and saying this is not the way to do this. I don't know who's attacking Stickland. The only reason Stickland did what he did was because Bonnen forced him to. Or, well, and I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I'm not going to make... I can only speculate. But I know Jonathan Stickland. And what happened was likely that all of his other bills were threatened with being passed if he didn't put out this statement. Like his red light camera bill. Well, now the red light camera bill, as of today, by the way, is dead too. So they lied to Stickland. They're lying to you, but they also lied to Stickland about if he put out a statement that condemned this kind of stuff, that, you know, they'd be able to move forward on things And now they've killed. Now that he's put out that statement, as expected, they've killed his red light camera and every other bill that Stickland is on. So this is what Dennis Bonnen is doing. I think and I hope that Chris McNutt and or Texas Gun Rights and the National Association for Gun Rights will sue Dennis Bonnen, because that is the only way that we're going to be able to hold him accountable, because our representatives aren't going to do it. All the rhinos in the House are going to continue voting for Bonnen because he's the rhino king. So the only way we're going to be able to get some sort of resolution and justice on this issue is if Chris McNutt sues Dennis Bonnen for the obvious lies that he's out there telling in the print press, because he is defaming Chris McNutt's character. Look on the internet. It's amazing how many people have bought Bonnen's lies about Chris McNutt and are attacking Texas Gun Rights and the National Association for Gun Rights for the destruction of this bill. Hell, you even have the Texas State Rifle Association coming out and attacking Chris McNutt based on lies. So there you go. Again, watch the video in the description. I'm going to post this now. I don't know if while I'm doing a live video you can see the description underneath where I'm talking, but it's there. Watch the entire interview. Like I said, the first part is about property taxes and other issues, so you got to kind of skip about halfway through, and then that's when you get to the gun part, where he's talking about House Bill 357. I am not going to stop holding Dennis Bonnen accountable, and I'm going to tell you this as well. We are planning a huge rally at the Capitol to mourn the loss and the death of 357. This needs to be a large pro-gun rally. We're going to figure out what the best day to do it is. We're not going to try and give you guys last minute. Hopefully we'll have a couple of weeks of notice. But we have got to fill this Capitol with pissed off gun owners, pissed off law-abiding citizens who are not happy that for 2 more years we're going to have to either beg the government for permission to exercise our rights, or simply exercise our rights and take the risk of having to fight for them in court because we get caught. And that's just where we are. So stay tuned to this channel. Make sure you subscribe and like this video and share this video. Subscribe, click the notification bell. Also subscribe to the Open Carry Texas YouTube channel and click the notification bell as well. And go to opencarrytexas.org, because once we get ready to start planning this rally, we're going to send out an email. So that's going to be the best way for everybody to know when this rally is going to be. But we need maximum participation, and we may have to do it on a Saturday just so we get more people out there. Granted, the representatives won't be here, but we want to get a lot of people out here, so we'll probably have to do it on a Saturday. And with that, I'm going to leave y'all. God bless you. God bless Texas. God bless this country. And man, I'll tell you, it's gotten really ugly, but I am not going to let up on Speaker Bonnen. He will not get away with this. We will not allow lies, deception, misrepresentations to kill good legislation that 16 other states have, and that 36 other states have in the form of open carry. So 36 unlicensed carry states are out there, and we're one of only 14 that requires a permission slip. And if people are going to kill it on its merits. Don't kill it based on a lie, which is what Dennis Bonnen is doing. Take care, guys. Be safe. Be free.